Let's talk about scattering now. And this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting in our brush presets. So let's start with a regular circle, and you'll see that this is our normal line, just a basic stroke made with a basic brush. Now, if we introduce some scatter to our stroke now, what you'll see in the preview window is that our brush tip is being multiplied and spread apart on the x-axis. And the result is a very cool effect here of a nice, much more broken up, spotted brushstroke. Now, if we want to, we'll spread our brush tips out on the X and Y axis, which translates in the preview to more of a diagonal movement. And what this will do is create a scatter that has more of a central line to it. Now, with the scatter, we have the usual suspects for controls: fade, pen pressure, pen tilt, stylus wheel, and rotation, which we've covered already. I'm going to just demonstrate with the pen pressure, just because that's my favorite control option. And you'll see very lightly, there's very little scatter. And as we introduce more pressure to the pen, we increase our scatter. So a very cool control here, the scatter. And next, I'm just going to show you a couple other quick things here. Now, the count control is almost like a density control. So the higher we increase our count, the more brush tips we're going to put into our scatter, and we start getting a much more dense stroke. So if we increase this, you'll see that our stroke becomes much, much more dense to the point where it turns into a very blobby sort of stroke, which is also cool. The last control here is the count jitter. Now I'm going to turn this up really high just to exemplify. And I'm going to turn the count down just to add a little bit of space here so we can show this. And the count jitter, of course, will increase and decrease the count throughout our stroke, in this case, based on pen pressure. So you can see it gets a little more dense. And as we increase pressure, the count increases. As we decrease pressure, the count decreases. There is the scatter controls with the count and count jitter sliders activated. So that, in a nutshell, is how the scatter controls work with the count adjustments and the count jitter